Hi everyone and welcome to this video. I'm doing this series of videos to assist my students in my courses, which are very technical sometimes and don't always express how one translates that energy information into real life experiences. So I've been doing this series of videos, and it started off with a video on what I call collective intelligence, as opposed to collective stupidity. And I used the example of what happened in 2020 to illustrate exactly what collective stupidity was. And I won't go into that now, but you can go back and watch that video and understand how collective stupidity works. And then I did a video on collective intelligence. And you can also go back and view that one. And this particular video, I'm going to be going deeper into the concept of holism. Now, why I'm doing this is because we're getting to a period in our Earth's history in the ascension process where it's going to becoming more important for us to understand this concept. Because as the systems around us begin to crash, and we're seeing them crashing every day or starting to crash, we're in the stage of ascension that is called the Great Revelation. And we'll go into the next stage, which is a great realization at a later time. But I think more and more people are beginning to realize that what they've been told and what is covered by the news media is simply a pack of lies, and it's false. But I think humanity's, the forward stage, the future is not going to be determined by those who stood against the system as it now stands, but those who were for a new system. And standing for a new system is very challenging if you don't know what it is. So I'm proposing the notion that the new system should be based on holism. We hear the word holistic healing and holistic approach to subjects, but very few people explain exactly what a holism is and what holistic means, what whole means, what holy means. And they're all interconnected, and it's also connected to holograms. So understanding all of this is essential, that people begin to understand how the universe works and how holisms work. And tonight I'm going to use my hand as an illustration of holism. Now, we have a body which can be considered a holism. In other words, the entire body, with its 8.5 or more billion cells in it, acts in a cogent, coherent, and cohesive and cooperative way, so that all the parts of the body, every cell in the body, works together with other parts of the body in order to make the body function. And that's a holistic system in a nutshell. And I've spoken about this before, when all the parts have a common vision and mission, and they all subscribe to the same standards and values, and they express that in a holism, the holism begins to function more coherently. Now, if you take, for instance, your hand is part of the holism of the body, but each part of the hand is in fact a holism. If you take the index finger, the top of the index finger is connected to the bottom, the second digit as it's called. And that is a holism. that these two connected together, doing the same function together and working together, create a holism. And you don't need a holism. It's not necessarily 2 or 3 parts, or 4 parts, or 5 parts. You can have just 2 parts that are holism. And I think the Bible expresses it this way: where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I will be in their midst. And those 2 digits are a holism. Now, in the wider sense of reality, everything in the universe is connected as one holism. So what people want to express as God, for instance, or creator, or source, or whatever name you wish to give to it, it's a principle of holism that is not well understood. And last week I explained that every cell in your body has all the information of the whole. It carries all the information of the whole in every cell, because each cell has got DNA in it, it's got proteins, minerals, it's got a structure, it's intelligent, it communicates with other cells in the body, it has an external and an internal structure, and they are super intelligent. And cells communicate with each other through what are called glycoforms, which is like a little series of dead trees, if you like, around the cell, which are called glycoforms, made of 8 different sugars. And these crystalline forms, these glycoforms, are able to communicate like we communicate with radio and television and so on, through the air. That they are able to communicate through the body. And every time they send out a signal, they send out a signal about the whole, not just about that little quadrant of space. So everything in the holism represents the holism. That's how our holism works. If it was any other way, it wouldn't work, because the intelligence that drives holistic understanding is where each part has an understanding of the whole, and each part serves the whole for the benefit of the whole, and is rewarded by the whole for the service it provides. Now, this may sound like a lot to take in at the moment, and it is a lot to take in. But if you simply understand, for instance, your hand is a part of the whole body. Your hand is connected to your wrist, to your arm, lower arm. Your arm has an elbow, and the elbow connects the upper arm to the shoulders, to the shoulder area. And the shoulders area is connected to a torso. And the torso has legs, and the legs have knees, they've got ankles, bones, toes. And you've got all the different parts of the body that act as a holism to benefit the whole body. Now, if you look at our societal structures as we have them now, they work counter to holism, because they're all separated. There's no commonality, there's no unity. And that unity is very important, because your first digit and your second digit are in communion with each other. And communion comes from the word communo, unios, which means united, and com, which means with. So they are united. They're in communication with each other. But this is also what is called a sacred communication, because they are connected in the whole, in the bigger whole, and the bigger whole. So they're a fractal. So this digit is a fractal of your hand. and this digit is a fractal of your finger. So everything is fractalized but combined together to make a whole. But the principles that hold them together is the commonality that they have, the information they have about the whole, and how they express that together in cooperation with each other, cohesively, cogently, and work together. So your hand is, you got your whole hand, you got each digit. Each digit knows everything about the whole hand. And that's the information that it holds, not only in your physical body, but in your soul body as well. All that information is held there. Now, where's that information in our body stored? Well, we have something on this planet called junk DNA. They call it junk DNA because they have no idea what it does. But junk DNA is basically a storage of all the information and experiences that a conscious soul being has experienced from the time they came into inception, from the time they were incarnated, perhaps as a microform, a microbial. And this conscious soul being goes through many lifetimes of experience, from, say, microbial form to an insect form to a vegetable form, from vegetable form to an avian form, from an avian form to an insect form, to a fish form, to an animal form, and then eventually it evolves into a human form. And all those informations is stored in the soul body, but it's also stored in the physical body as junk DNA. Now, some scientists here, particularly in Russia, have begun studying junk DNA, and they come into the conclusion that junk DNA acts almost like a holographic chip, microchip, and that there are layers of information in junk DNA that they don't understand yet, because they don't understand holograms and holisms. But once they understand that, they'll be able to put the puzzle together. Because it's important to understand the fractal nature of the universe, the as above, so below kind of concept. That in each microform, it holds all the information about the macroform. And the macroform holds all the information about all the microforms. So we, in a sense, live in an intelligent soup in the universe. Our consciousness is in this intelligent soup, and we are co-creators of our own reality as we serve as a member of a holism. And being part of that holism is very important. If we look at our current Earth systems, they fail because they adhere to the principle of separation. And if we're going to advance, it's not conditional upon us understanding this, but when we advance to a higher state of consciousness, we'll begin to understand, because we'll be reconnected to all the information that we've forgotten. And it wasn't that we forgot it on purpose, it was basically pressed on humans to forget. We've been recycling here in a recycling, soul recycling system. But when we move out of that soul recycling system, our history and the knowledge of our history will be restored, and all the information about the whole will be restored. But it won't come in one big bang. It will take many, many years to actually accumulate, to absorb and acclimate to what it actually means. And it's not very easy, I can tell you from my first-hand experience. I spent many days crying, literally crying, sobbing tears when I began to understand this, because we've actually been lied to about everything on this planet, and we continue to be lied to. But now we're in this the great revelation where all the lies are being exposed, and they're going to be more and more exposure of all the lies, and people are going to be very saddened when they find out some of the things that have been going on and are going on at the moment on our planet. But I won't get into what that is now. That is, I do a lot of posts on my Facebook page about that, and I keep people up to date as to where we are. But we're getting there slowly but surely. But it is time that people start thinking beyond the current Earth paradigm and start thinking, because your thoughts are very powerful and will be able to help to recreate the reality that we all aspire to. And it's very much an individual thing. There's no leadership. In a holism, every part plays their part. Little finger, index finger, this little digit must play its part in the whole. If you look at these 4 fingers, each finger has 3 digits, 3 small bones connected by a joint. And our number system, for instance, came from the fact that there are 3 digits. So this first thing is, people used to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first 4 digits was made up the number 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So farmers used to make up, for instance, a dozen eggs or a dozen rolls or a dozen carrots, because people could count them all from their digits on their fingers. So they played a very important part in developing human mathematics. It was also, they play an important part in creation. For instance, the hand fetches the food, puts it in the mouth, and that feeds the body. Without the hand, it would be very difficult to do that. Some people don't have hands, so they have to be fed, or they have to be fed in different ways. But the hands are vitally important to the whole body. And the more we understand how, for instance, the hands are rewarded for their service by putting food in our mouths, by the nutrition that goes into the body, and that nutrition returns to the finger. So there's this holistic system of energy and service exchange in the different parts of the body that sustains the whole body. And as we look at new systems going forward, you're going to find out, for instance, how are we going to replace governments? How can we replace and create a system, a holistic system, a holism, that where each small part is vitally important to the whole, and each part is, as long as it plays its part, fulfills its purpose, it will be provide an invaluable service to the whole, and then the whole will be greater than the sum of the parts. So local government is the way to go, where everything is devolved to the lowest level. And the lowest level of government should be the family, where the father is the head of the home and the mother is the neck that turns the head. But you get my meaning. Families are very important. So we can already start in our family groups, in our own families. How can we create a holistic system? How can we pay more attention to serving each other? Our parents serve the children, but how do the children serve the parents? Are they playing their part? Are they being taught how to be of service to others, service to the parents, service to themselves, service to each other. And this whole notion of service in service to the whole is going to be very important going forward, so that we go from a system of service to self to service to others and oneself. And this is going to be pretty important going forward. I'll leave you with that. It's quite a short video, but it's a very important concept, because as we go forward, we'll deal with how the universe is a fractal universe, and it has a particular structure in terms of the way energy flows that creates dimensions, that creates time and space, how our souls evolve in that domain, as it were, and how once we understand this, we'll understand that we can actually do time travel, we can translocate, bilocate, and it's not your body that gets translocated, it's your consciousness, your soul, because your soul carries the blueprint of your body. So in whatever dimension you are, your body goes with you, because your soul has the blueprint of the body, and the body reassembles itself as a holographic form in each higher dimension. So it's very important to understand the holism, the concept of holism, and to come up with creative ideas on how we can restructure our planet and the systems here in a more holistic way, in a way that serves us rather than defeats us. At the moment, we have systems of government that defeat us. We have systems of banking that defeat us. We have systems of education that defeat us, systems of science that defeat us. And so it's very difficult to live a fulfilling life on this planet when so much is hidden from us. And it's time that and there's so much hidden from us, it's just not conscionable to imagine how much has been hidden from us. And how many lies have been told here, because a lie can be two things, a lie of omission and a lie of commission. And while we lie to in commissions and lies committed, we also lie to by omissions when the truth is omitted. So it's going to be a very traumatic time for humans to go through that period of understanding, learning, accepting one's own history of who you are and what you are in the universe, and how you can use that to your benefit and to the benefit of the others and to the benefit of the whole, so that each part of the whole begins to serve in a cogent, coherent, cooperative way. So I leave you with that, and send you much love and gratitude for your interest and for your participation. And I'll see you again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, Colin.